Hello and welcome to another Spider Strategies Quick Score training video. This video will cover how to use Spider Strategies Connect to import an Excel values file to import multiple measures and multiple time period values into a Quick Score scorecard. Before we get into the Connect portion of the lesson, let's pause and take a look at the format of the required import file in Excel. Hopefully you've had some time to look at the training video on how to create an import file like this. But if not, the overview is that column A needs to be populated with the measures that in a scorecard, and row 1 needs to be populated with the appropriate date and time frames, and then the body of the spreadsheet needs to be populated with actual values for each measure for each time frame. Also, before we get into Connect, let's pause and take a look at the scorecard that we're going to be populating via an import process. This is a many-month, many-time period organization that has a newly created scorecard in the classic balanced scorecard structure of financial perspective, customer perspective, internal processes, and learning and growth perspectives. Within those perspectives, there are objectives, and supporting and providing values to those objectives are measures. Note that at the present time, this scorecard is devoid of any values in any time period. So it's effectively an empty scorecard shell without values, thus there are no scores for the objective, perspective, or scorecard levels. Our goal is to utilize Connect to populate this scorecard with values across 13 months. To open Connect, go to the URL for Spider Strategies Quick Score and add /Connect to the end of that URL. That will bring you to the Connect login page where you can provide a username and password and then click Submit. The Connect homepage will open. This is an empty Connect homepage, and what we want to do is create a new import process in Connect. We'll click Create New, and we can use this map of processes to get an import set up. Moving left to right. We'll start with basic information. The basic information includes a process name, multi-time and measures import, a data source, which in our case will be an Excel spreadsheet, an import type where you define what you're going to be doing with what you bring in from Excel. We're going to be updating metric values, and then we'll browse out and point to the appropriate Excel import file. This again is the one that we created in the earlier training video about how to create an import file. After defining all that, we'll click OK. Next, we move on to the next step of the import process definition, which is source data. Here, we're going to take a look at the actual data coming from the spreadsheet. Notice that column A has already been aligned with metric and ID name. Along the top, we need to set this to use a date header row for imports. Upon doing that, you'll note that the first row in the spreadsheet is now identified differently than any other row. It understands that that row contains date values, not actual measure values. Once that is complete, we can click OK. Moving on to the third step of the process, the destination metrics. This is where we tell Connect where to put the values that come from the import. Our BSC, many time periods and many measures, is the organization. Over on the right, we see the scorecard that we earlier viewed within Quick Score, which as we discussed was empty. We want to populate the entire scorecard, so we'll click on the BSC scorecard name. Along the bottom, it will present all the value, or the measure names throughout the entire BSC scorecard, and we'll click OK. Next, we move to the mapping phase of the import definition. Because we set up our import spreadsheet appropriately with the exact measure names in our import file that map directly to the scorecard measure names, we don't need to do any work at this point in the process. We can click OK. Lastly, if you wanted to schedule this import process to be run with any regular frequency, you can select New Schedule and define a variety of different frequencies, days, times, and even time zones. For our training purposes, we are not going to schedule the running of this import process, and we'll click OK. We have now completed the definition of this connect import process, and we can click Save. We see it listed under Imports. If desired, you can double check your work and click on the name of the new import to verify that everything is set up as you expect. And then we'll run that process now. This will show us that it has succeeded under status and gives us an indication of when this was last run. Now let's go back to QuickScore and see the results of our efforts to set up and run that import process for our scorecard. If we refresh the QuickScore browser, you'll see that our BSC scorecard is now populated at the scorecard level, the perspective level with scores and various time period values, the objective level, and of course the measure level across all the 13 months that we brought in data for via our import. And as we scroll across the different time periods, we of course see that all 13 months are populated with values and scores. Congratulations! You just completed how to use SpiderStrategy's Connect to import an XLS value file to import multiple measures and multiple time period values into QuickScore. If you have any questions, please contact us at helpdesk@spiderstrategies.com. Thank you.